Hello, welcome to The Long Road. I'm your host, Chris Roberts, and guessed by the color of my shirt, these little dots on my tie, and this orange watch, you probably know what show it is this time of year. And I have my two guests here.
C.S. Wurzberger, also known as the Green Up Girl.
Okay.
And Ruth Sterling,
Also
known as the crazy pumpkin person, right?
Okay, before we start, you said something off camera because what we were talking about is, people, how the Pumpkin Fest puts Keene on the map, and then when Keene gets on the map, people go, you know what, let me look about Keene. Maybe it's something about it. Maybe I would like to make it home.
Well, I was saying on the break that I moved here about 6 months ago, and whenever I'm traveling around the U.S. and I happen to tell people that I'm now living in Keene, they always say, oh, that's where that amazing pumpkin festival is being held, so I don't even have to explain where I'm from anymore.
And I know that some of the people in the city council don't necessarily believe it.
The reason that's relevant is because I'm told that very often, like about once a week, someone will tell me that the reason their kid is now at Keene State College, or the reason they moved here to work at such and such employer was that they knew Keene was really cool because of the Keene Pumpkin Festival. But when I go into a city council meeting and a city councilor says, we know no one moves here because of the Pumpkin Festival, that's what I kind of like explode inside and have to throw something, and then it gets colorful. But it really is true. The Keene Pumpkin Festival is very often the first thing people know about us. It's not the only thing, I hope. I hope they find out we have a great college and a great hospital and a great city council and a great town in general, region in general, but it is the first thing. I think of it as a beacon, little flashing beacon.
I've been to a conference in Washington, D.C., Oklahoma City, Chicago, Portland, Maine, two other places, I can't remember. When I was in Oklahoma City, I was meeting with the head of the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce. They were putting a big thing on at the Petroleum Club, 35th floor, overlooking this. And I'm going, wow, this place is pretty rich, and how am I doing here? But I was there, and when I said, well, I'm a state rep from New Hampshire, and he go, oh yeah, you guys, you got that crazy, you got 400 reps, and you do all that weird stuff. And I says, no, I'm from Keene, New Hampshire. And first thing he says, Pumpkin Fest. And you go, what do you mean? It's like, yes, Pumpkin Fest. The Washington, D.C., I was in there, and the guy goes, my sister goes to the Pumpkin Fest. And the same thing in Chicago. You say something about New Hampshire, and it's like, pfft, they think we're a weird state. But as soon as you say from Keene, so I go now and I say, well, I'm the representative from Keene. I don't say I'm a state rep from New Hampshire, because every place I've gone, every one of these conferences where people all around the country come, they know about Keene. The Pumpkin Fest has put Keene on the map. And if you really kind of put it, there's hundreds of small towns and cities in the Northeast, New York, Connecticut, and New England. And if you were to go, how could you say Keene is any better than them? We would just be just one of those other cities. But whether it's on TV, the front page, you speaking, sometimes higher pitched than other times.
You're going to tease me the whole show?
But I don't think a lot of people realize how valuable this is.
The problem is that everybody doesn't travel around like you do. They don't get out of this town and look back. That we tend to be, a little isolated here, and we just look at ourselves nestled among these hills. And what we really need to do is get out more and say, what is this California town doing that's cool? And what is this place in, wherever? What are they doing? Do they have a dog park? Do they have a college? What makes people attracted to different towns? That's what marketing is. You can't just sit here and go, well, boy, I wish our economy would be livelier. You have to find out what works in other places, but we're in a unique position where people are coming to us all the time saying, how do you pull off this pumpkin festival thing? We need a signature event in our town. But our city council and everybody doesn't know this, and we want them to know. We want them to know that it is a really significant flagship thing that they can be so proud of. And it's a bit of an inconvenience, but only for one weekend, and then the rest of the year it's just a big beacon saying Keene is cool.
But when you travel around the country, you have shrimp weekend
Yeah.
down in Sally, South Carolina. You don't want to go chitlin weekend, and they all kinds. It smells really bad.
Garlic festivals.
Garlic boot.
Yeah.
These are
Bloody
all,
Mary festivals.
These are all really important. These define communities. Otherwise, a lot of these small communities are not even on the national map. But because they have these little events, which to them is a really big, it takes a lot of hard work by them and the whole community.
Yep.
But it's something that the community is really proud about.
Well, they ought to be. That makes me want to show this year's poster that has
Push it a
sponsorship.
little bit. Yep, better.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Here, how's this? This is probably pretty good. These are this year's sponsors, and I have to discard this one because over the weekend I got two more sponsors that I need to add to this. Timken and John and Jean Hoffman both wrote in just this past weekend. So this is the most sponsors we've ever attracted since we took on the project, and there's Cheshire Oil is on here, the Corner News, Cheshire Village Pizza. Just people are saying, I want to be part of this. I want to do what I can. As in many cases, people don't have huge amounts of resources to support something that's a marketing or advertising effort. They're just getting by themselves, but they'll find a way, and we'll help them find a way to be part of the program. Whether if money is a problem, well, how about feeding some volunteers, or how about donating some materials that we need for the festival, or something else. Anybody who wants to be part of this, I want them to be part of it. I don't have a lot of money either. So what I give is what I think my talents are, which are communications, and every now and then event management used to be considered a strength.
But you already knocked off one of the big complaints that a lot of people on the city council and other people in the community has, just by showing us the bottom of this poster. People kept saying is, well, you know what, if it's so great, why doesn't some people sponsor it? If it's so great and people are making money, why aren't some of the businesses are making money sponsoring it? You've done it. You've really stepped up, and you listened to the city council, and you've done it.
I listen to everything they say. I find it oftentimes very painful, but I listen. And yes, I want to be able to say we asked everyone. It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
We did not ask everyone
Everybody.
this year. If I knew someone was going to yell at me, I did not call them. But I can't think of an example. But
That's why you didn't call me, right?
you help us in a million ways. But eventually, I'd like that poster to not have room for the pretty stuff and just be all supporters of Keene Pumpkin Festival. Yeah, so I think we should talk to CS for a minute here
Well,
about.
good.
Oh yeah, let's just point out that CS is the Green Up Girl right here on our poster. You do it.
CS.
The Green Up Girl.
It's got to be green, right?
It's green and orange.
Green and orange. Oh, I see it right here. There it is, the Green Up Girl, right behind Cheshire Village, below it. Cheshire Village Pizza and Timkins and Hannah Grimes, Greater Keene Chamber of Commerce. Right in, you pay extra for this spot? That's a good spot.
Working extra hard for that.
Working extra hard. Payment in kind services.
So CS, let's see, I heard about her through a connection with Hannah Grimes, with Denise Meadows, and it's been a sore spot. There were a number of sore spots with Keene Pumpkin Festival when we first started out, but the amount of trash that is a byproduct of a huge event with lots of people was a sad spot for me. And I have a son who's a nature Nazi. He's an environmental, very
passionate fanatic.
Passionate ecological person. And he told me we would never be able to make the Pumpkin Festival more earth-friendly. And I said, that's just impossible. It's of the earth. Pumpkins grow from the earth. We need to be respectful of the earth. We need to find a way to improve. If we just turn the corner and start improving, we'll eventually get to a better space. So then this person walks in and says, of course you can green up the Orange Festival. That's pretty much what she said.
Well, first I have to tease you because you're not going to be discarding these. We'll be recycling these, not discarding.
Oh, right, right.
But yes, we're on a mission right now to, well, first let me start at the beginning. Festivals and green events all around the world are known for producing just large amounts of trash. So much wasted resources go into it. So there's a really amazing movement now where my team and I are part of a group called GMIC, which is Green Meeting Industry Council. So we're out right on the ground level working with festivals and events like this to go in and green them up. So our goal is to be zero waste by 2017. So we've got a lot of steps between now and then, but our first step for this year is to reduce waste by 35%, which means we're increasing the recycling program. So we've spoken, Coca-Cola is donating some recycling bins for us. Waste Management has stepped up and they're donating a giant 30-yard container, so we've got a place to put all these. We've teamed up with Teak Brothers down at Keene State, so their fraternity is going to be just diving in. Now, not only will literally diving in, because not only will we be out on the street trying to encourage people to recycle, but what folks don't realize is behind the scenes, we're going to be dumpster diving, we're going to be opening up trash bags, and our verbal goal is 35%, our printed goal is 35%, but behind the scenes, we're hoping to be able to retrieve a lot more of the water bottles and cans out of the trash.
Because with Teak made I saw them last year. In years past, it used to be overflowing on the ground, and I saw these guys, they would go up, pop-up thing, we take the trash away, haul it away, and put a new one in. So that kept a lot of trash off the ground. So yeah, that's going to make it a heck of a lot easier for the dumpster diving, open up the trash barrels. And
The Teak Fraternity Brothers needed a community service project in 2011. And I asked them how much they needed to raise, and that became their salary. They don't seem to really care about their salary that much, but they needed to do a community service project, and they needed to have a donation for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, I think.
Memphis, Tennessee.
I think that's who their beneficiary is, and they just took to it. So this will be their third year. They were thrilled with all the initiatives CS was talking about. I don't really picture them in dumpsters. I picture them taking the bags and sorting them, sort of assembly line style. They're very industrious and impressive young people, and they won an award from the college for all of their efforts on campus. And I think the Pumpkin Festival was one of their bigger efforts. They're really terrific people. They make you feel, you hear a lot about young people being like starting to drink when they wake up in the morning that day, but not these guys. And there's an awful lot of other volunteers that, not those people either. So I'm not sure who those other people are, but if we could get them all productively involved in wholesome activities, they'll save the Pumpkin Festival, they'll have a great day, and they'll have something to be really proud of in their futures.
Get a little bit off track, and you say don't assume they'll go in. Well, a long time ago when I was a first lieutenant, we were living on base, and you had the E-clubs and the staff NCO clubs. I said, hey, you know what, we'll just recycle. So I took my two little daughters, and they still talk about it. I'd put them in the trash bin, and we get all the cans and stuff. And I says, hey, no problem, I'll give you some money. And we went to Reynolds Aluminum to recycle, and the guy goes, I'll have to give you a check. And I go, what do you mean? I got like $130 because, and I go, hey, Dad, you promised us $3. So I gave me $3. And we bought our first computer, the Commodore 64, just by recycling aluminum beer cans.
That's amazing.
It's amazing the amount of money that you can make out of just recycling.
Well, and sadly, 8 out of 10 water bottles and soda cans are actually discarded. They're not even kept and recycled. So you're right, there's a lot of opportunity for generating some cash.
They might be able to make money just by...
That's right.
Where are those kids now? Are they around?
They're here, they'll still talk about it. Oh yeah, my dad made us go in the dumpster.
Well, and the other big...
We want to be a little careful about that going in the dumpster.
Yeah, but you got grown up, you got kids that are going to help you out. So
Yeah.
keep guys.
Well, and then even going forward, we're hoping that the public will really search out and look for the recycling stations. We don't have as many as we want for this year, but again, we know that this is a step-by-step process over the next 5 years. And maybe some of these sponsors will even step up and want to help us get more recycling bins out there. But we're also going to be composting all of the remains from the pumpkins. Those are heading off to pig farmers. None of that will hit the landfill. And then starting next year, we'll then also start composting in the food areas, all of the leftover food waste too, which again is going to reduce a tremendous amount of trash. So I was excited to share with Ruth, there are festivals around the world that are zero waste. So all we've got to do is follow their steps and protocol, and we can do the same thing by 2017.
There's a lot of people that don't want to eat the pizza crust, but that can be compost.
Exactly.
What's
Exactly.
wrong with pizza crust? I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we have lots of jokes when we talk about leftover foods. Food is like, at my house there were never any leftover. I didn't know that food could be composted.
Yep.
But CS has taught us a lot, and she's really state of the art in this what can be recycled, what could be composted, how to do it, how to track it, measure, set goals. We've been really impressed. She's working with the chamber on some project with them too.
We've kicked off their first green initiative, which is actually reusable name tags now for all of their events. No more stick-on name tags.
Oh, good.
And in fact, the name tags are also made from recycled plastic and can be composted afterwards. They're completely biodegradable. So that's their first green initiative. And then also you mentioned Hannah Grimes. I have an office over there, and we're also kicking off some new green initiatives there where the events that they put on are almost zero waste. All the paper products now are compostable. So we've just, the last event we had, I mean, literally, we're talking this much trash from, a few hundred people arriving. So we should be zero waste within the next
I think the tide's
two.
turning from, I couldn't possibly bother to look for a place to recycle this cup, to, wait, I want to be a good citizen of the planet. Where is the recycling? And please may it be handy, because I have 2 little kids and I don't have time. But so Coca-Cola is one of our national sponsors that's staffing and hosting a welcome center. And they have a big initiative, speaking of marketing. I mean, these beverage companies need to keep up with what public sentiment is telling them, that we don't want to ruin the planet. So how does Coca-Cola stay in business with all of these 20-ounce bottles? Well, they're clever. They figure out how to have them be of recycled materials and encourage people to recycle. So this person named Erin from Coca-Cola in Greenfield, do we remember her last name?
I don't.
Devaney or something. Sorry. Oh, Caveney. She's local. I've got to get her name right. Well, anyway, Erin, she works for Coca-Cola, is coming with displays and information, and also sharing. Coca-Cola has way more products than Diet Coke and Coke. Did you know that?
Yeah, they have Bott's root beer. They have Minute Maid.
They have so many
They
different
still
beverages.
have the old Fanta. They still have Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
And they have a coffee product called Ely, I think, that's from I think France, but so they're going to be sampling some of these cool, lesser known things that are up and coming products for them, and they're going to be sampling them and finding out what people think as they walk by and get welcomed at the Main Street Welcome Center. So that's one, and then there at Gilbo, there's HGTV Magazine. I want everybody to know that there is a HGTV television personality celebrity coming this year, and her name is Meg Caswell. She's a design star. She won a contest on the network and then got her own episodes or something. But they are bringing in Campbell's Soup and some other national sponsors as part of their exhibit. And got to recycle those Campbell's Soup. Yeah. And
The kids want the labels so they can get money from their schools.
That's
all
right.
right. So that's good too. So and I want to go through all 7 welcome centers really quickly. So Dunkin' Donuts is doing the one right by Luca's on Washington Street, and they're going to have a local group working with them. And Clark Mortensen Insurance Company is handling a welcome center on Roxbury Street, which I think is excellent. I mean, that's where I want my insurance company to be, out welcoming people to Keene and making a good impression for us. And the Swamp Bats, nobody represents us any better than those purple people. They're at Railroad Square and welcoming people at that welcome center. What have I forgotten? Oh.
That's only 4.
AAUW is at the American Association of University Women, the only club I belong to. It's a group devoted to people being having the opportunity to be educated and to use that education to good purpose. And they're hosting the Welcome Center that's by the Sentinel and the library, and having a local author who moved here because of the Keene Pumpkin Festival, who's written a book called Wicked Cruel. It's aimed at teenagers. He used to be an editor at Highlights magazine. He's going to be signing books there. The book is really neat. It's 3 stories, and one of the stories happens at the Pumpkin Festival. One of them is a ghost story about the Wyman Tavern. It's very fun to read, and he'll be signing the books, and Toadstool's coming to help him with that. So Toadstool is now, coming in, and this local author approached us, and AAUW, and we're trying, it's an inclusive thing. In fact, if you're not doing something at Keene Pumpkin Festival, we've got something for you, which is a big message we need to get out, that this Friday and Saturday, will this show be on the air before this Friday and Saturday?
It'll be on Wednesday night.
Excellent. Well, okay, so this coming Friday and Saturday at Local Burger downtown, we're doing volunteer recruitment. In fact, we're from 4 to 6 and on Friday, and 1 to 3 on Saturday, where you can come in, do a really quick little form of what you're good at, what you'd like to do. We have criteria like extremely physically demanding to not very demanding at all, and you'll get a volunteer assignment, and you'll know where you're needed that day or Friday. And so everybody's invited to come to Local Burger. You don't have to have a burger while you're there, but
they're really good.
But it would be awesome if you did, yes. And the World Record banner and the banners and the Pumpkin Wars banner are going to be on display. So it'd be fun for people to see that. And we'll be there, and you can meet us and say, boy, you were really a knucklehead on TV the other day. Chris Roberts was okay, but couldn't you get your act together? So we invite everybody. If people have already signed up online, that's great. But if you want to come down and get an assignment, so we can, just get a quick meet and see what you'd really like to do, that would be helpful.
And if you love the environment and you want to come help with recycling, come on down and
Save
volunteer.
the planet.
That's right. You can
Yes.
be part of the green team.
Right.
While you're on environment, the biggest problem that we had last year was we only had containers on one side of the street, but we had the pumpkin race on both sides of the street. So some of them did really good, and the other ones couldn't do anything when we were trying to pick up the pumpkins.
Yeah, that I described last year's Pumpkin Festival as one of the biggest failures of my life, from which I learned how to have what I hope is the biggest success in Keene Pumpkin Festival history, because one of the 13 teams achieved amazing things last
22
year.
minutes.
At the Pumpkin Dump Derby. Were you there, Ref?
I was there, yeah, because I had the 3. You had the one in front of the kitchen store. You had the one in front of Hannah Grimes. Then you had the other group that was on Railroad, but there was no bin there.
Yeah.
And so the first group got theirs done, it was girls. They got it done in 22 minutes. Then the other group was in between, and we didn't have any on Railroad, and people were coming and smashing and throwing and everything.
Okay.
But
Cut. Get the hook.
but you're talking about, that's part of the only thing that really stopped the Railroad from going, because we had to go to 2 o'clock. If there had been a dumpster that would have been done within an hour.
We rely on the experts, and Waste Management had told us that one dumpster on the boundary line of each zone would be plenty. Well, what did we learn? It wasn't plenty, so Waste Management has come back with a revised plan that they feel pretty confident about, but we'll see, which is one dumpster in every single zone and some extras. But every solution causes new things. So let's talk about those dumpsters for a second. They have to get placed on Friday. The community's not going to be thrilled with that. The downtown community is not going to be thrilled that we have to take up parking places on Friday with dumpsters. But Nancy Sporborg came up with a brilliant plan for those are the composting dumpsters for the pumpkins. They're going to be wrapped in brown, recycled, I hope.
Like a
cover,
craft paper, yeah.
craft paper from Keene Industrial Paper, and each one is going to become a billboard, a piece of developing community art. The first one is going to say, "Before I die, I want to."
Yeah.
And you'll be able to write on the walls of these things what you would do, what you want, your bucket list is. And the next one, my favorite memory from Keene Pumpkin Festival is, and we're hoping that by the end of the event, those will just be completely full of participants' stories, so that everybody has a chance not only to carve their pumpkin, but to tell their story. What I love about Keene most, why I moved to Keene, New Hampshire. And we're going to try to save those wrappings, and then so we're trying to turn a weakness into a strength, which is a strategy I use often, and hope that the downtown people will forgive these containers taking up their parking places that day. But just so you know, I already turned to Waste Management and said we need a better solution for next year. We need to figure out how to preserve parking and stage these containers so that they're there when we need them for the Pumpkin Dump Derby,
Yep.
which is fully enrolled. They're waiting lists. All the teams are signed up, and you don't have to ref this year, Chris. They have refs for every zone.
And when you're talking, I was up in Portland, Maine in a conference, and right
Get
down.
around.
And when you go in and right on the docks where the boats go up, there's a sports club, a restaurant, and right on the side of it, they got all these spaces. What I want to do, and people, I want to sing, I want to have another wish, I want to go to the Himalayas.
That's where Nancy got the idea. She saw a board up, not in Portland, but up in northern New Hampshire that was inspired by New Orleans, where someone had done this to a condemned house. And then it started to be done to other condemned properties, where they turned that bleak hopelessness into hope, into a message of hope to everybody. That, this is something positive, this is something. So that's where Nancy got the idea, and Nancy is the person who had the idea for the whole bleepity bleep pumpkin festival. So she's the idea girl, and we think it's going to be a hit. I hope so.
It will be.
Will you write on it?
What's that?
Will you write on it?
I'll write it.
You get to write 13 different messes if you're really inspired, because there'll be 13 different opportunities with.
I'll be here in the morning. Then I got to go to a wedding in Manchester at 2:00, and I'm trying to get back.
Oh, Chris. Oh, you've got to be there at 8:15, the world record. You are so part of it.
I'm going to try. I think I can get back at 8:15. It's going to be tight, but I want to get
Listen,
back.
you give me your soul, and I'll tell you if you should rush or and you should. I know that we're going to get it. So I have this little pep talk that just in case. I have this little pep talk that's like a locker room pep talk about how we're going to win that I'd love to try to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like I should put my hat on for this, but you think I should?
Yeah.
I'll be like Bill Belichick. He doesn't wear a hat, though.
No, you want to be like Harbaugh, the guy from San Francisco.
I don't know. I want to win like Bill. Well, Bill had a tough day yesterday. We need to win rain or shine. We have to know how to win in the pouring rain, which Tom Brady didn't really know yesterday. But okay, so where do I look to?
Just look straight ahead.
Okay, so here we go.
If you look straight at me, he can take care of it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Just make believe you're reading it to me.
Okay, well, I don't really want to read it. I want to know it by heart, but unfortunately I don't. Okay. Oh, thank you. We're in the final countdown to Pumpkin Festival, and here's how we're going to bring it home. 20,000 free pumpkins were donated by CNS. For more than 20, please register online at pumpkinfestival.org. Otherwise, pickup is at CNS in Keene at the old FedEx building on Tuesday, October 15th, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Drive up for large loads, drive through for medium loads, and park and select for small amounts while they last. We still need thousands more, so place your orders with Interact or with your favorite farm or store. We need to start with about 36,000 pumpkins, carve them, deliver them with candles downtown on Friday after 10:30 a.m. or Saturday until 3:30. That's when we start to count them. Then light them. The Light Brigade needs everyone's help lighting from 4:30 on. The official 5-minute count when all jacks must be lit is at 6:50. It's specific, it's strategic, we're on our way to bring it home. Keene Pumpkin Festival, October 19th, downtown Keene, yes!
Yeah, see, that wasn't that hard.
It was pretty hard.
It was easy for me.
It's
I'm
easy
just
for
holding-
you to say, but no, really, it's like a sports event.
Yeah.
Here's your job. You go down, left, turn right, and I'll hit you. Or you come and help light. Everybody can light at 4 o'clock. Molly's Light Brigade, Molly Lane, our mayor's
Wife.
wife, is in charge of the Light Brigade.
The people can still buy pumpkins and have them carved like they did last year.
Yeah, the orphanage. Yep.
Yep. The second, the candles,
Yep.
people can still donate bags of those candles if they want to? Or
Yes,
you have enough?
there's 2 candle needs. The votives that
Hello.
will be in the pumpkins, and then Nancy's scoreboard says that tapered candles are the best way to light fast, unless it's super windy. That those lighters, even though we use them, are not the best way. That if you take a flame from this pumpkin and light it with your tapered candle, and we're having trouble finding a lot of those. And I know I have a drawer full at home. People use them for different holidays because the
Oh, those
colors,
old
right?
those old ones.
Yeah, you know,
The
you
ones
drag
you-
them out at Christmas and you never see them again. You know those. Yeah, but
But if they're really old and have lead, don't use.
oh really? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
the old ones used to have lead dipped wicks. That's why they did forever. But now they use beeswax and some of the other ones. So, yeah, if she's doing environmental, you don't want to do the old lead ones.
No, we don't want to do anything bad ever. But so if you show up with a tapered candle, you can light dozens and dozens of candles by taking that flame from place to place. And the Light Brigade we actually, just like last year, we expect everybody to be lighting from
Yep.
4 o'clock on. To see, if you see a pumpkin that's not lit, it is your job to help it out, light it up.
I still have a couple of hundred, the small
Lotus.
candles, whatever
Yeah.
you call them. I don't know what you call them, but I had some more. The woman with the 2 girls were not interested in taking them last year.
They weren't?
No, because people were supposed to be bringing their own, and so they were moving. I said, "Hey, I've got these," because, matter of fact, I went down to Walmart and there was like 50 of them for about $2.
Well, that's better than Bill O'Meara's deal at Keene Industrial Paper. Sorry, Bill. But Bill donates them.
Yeah.
He gets us a good deal on candles. But yeah, wow.
Because we had like 12 or 13 with all my grandkids, and so we put them all in, and yeah, they're about the size of a regular dollar, the dollar coin, and
Yep.
about that high.
The
and they're
little tea lights.
Yep.
Red tea lights, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like everybody to think about, what if we were Tom Brady yesterday and it was pouring and it's 6:50? What do we do? What would we do? By then the candles.
You should already had it planned.
But this is a community
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
Everybody needs to use
Everyone
all
needs to
their
do-
brain power. So would we hold umbrellas over the candles? Would we hold tarps over the pumpkins? What would we do?
The
We would not keep passing the ball and having everybody drop it and lose the game.
they probably, if what I would do is put 2x4s along the standing up, and you can go like to Walmart or Home Depot. They got that thin 1-ply plastic paper, plastic that you do if you're painting.
Oh,
It's really cheap, and you can just hang it over the top if it's pouring out.
couldn't people just hold it?
People could hold it too,
So if we just had a bunch of that,
and it's 20 feet. It's 8 feet by 20 feet.
hey, hey, just pretend it's not plastic just for a minute.
But
Okay,
it's
so
recyclable. But it's all made out of recyclable
We can
material.
reuse, and we can reuse it,
You
as
can
long as
reuse
we're
it.
reusing
You can
and not
reuse
putting
it.
it in the
Chris,
landfill.
that could be the solution. A bunch, if everybody shows up with some of that and
Yeah.
we all share and we refuse to lose,
Yeah.
we just stretch it out.
It's
If
like I said. It's 20 feet.
it's only 5 minutes we'd have
Yeah.
to do it for.
Yep. And it wouldn't take that much.
Problem solved. See, I've been noodling on that for a year, but we did come up with, we could tarp them all.
Top's
That-
too expensive and takes too much time.
That is way better. Glad we came on today.
Yeah. and it's really simple. And then you can take them and you can fold them up, or even if people roll them up, someone later on can just take them and fold them and keep them feature. It's not inflammable, so you don't have to worry about
It's
getting
not?
it. No, all they would do is melt, the worst case, but you'd have them higher over, so the candles, and you have them covered, so the candles would never melt them, especially if it's raining or cool, it would never get to the melt point. And then later on, you can get a couple of boxes, you can fold them all up, put them in and use them whenever you needed to. The fire department wouldn't have a problem with them because they're not flammable.
I can picture that being a beautiful moment. Well, let's have it not rain. That'd be
Yeah.
my first choice, but we need to practice. So I've asked people, like when it's pouring out, like the other day, to ask ourselves, how would we win if we had to win right now? We can't just go into it like, oh, it's just, there's no such thing as it's too bad.
Yeah.
We have to make our own luck, as Captain
Yeah.
Lafreniere says.
And the other part is, even if it's not raining and it's windy, people, all they have to do is just stand in front. That would block the wind.
Human barricades, perfect.
Just basically, you would need
He's
two people. Basically, 3 people would cover 40 feet.
Human barricades to protect the pumpkins
Pumpkins
from the wind. Okay, so I have no worries. My worries are over. I feel like if we were to fail, it would be the manager's failure. That it's really important to get the information and the tools and the inspiration into everybody that comes, so that people aren't standing there going, boy, I wish I could help. That
Yeah.
everything they can do to help, whether they're lighting, blocking, protecting, everybody is part of the help. And when we get that Guinness World Record seal, it will be because everybody
Right.
used their best.
No one can do it by themselves.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
And
not.
I know we always go. We got 20 minutes left, and we always go fast, and we always run out of time. What about these hats?
Oh, okay, so what about these hats? Well, merchandise at Keene Pumpkin Festival, I think of it as experience extenders, that you have a great day that one day in Keene, but if you go home with an experience extender, either a t-shirt or a hat or a deck of cards to play slapjack with, then you remember the wonder of that day and all the good things that happened the whole rest of the year. So we have developed, I say it's lovingly designed, but the our stuff is, I think, really beautiful, and I'm going to give you this hat because this is the ideas happen in Keene. This is the logo we introduced last year about just ideas popping out of people's heads, and you just had the best idea I've heard today. New idea. So there's going to be green sweatshirts and green hats with that artwork, and then midnight blue, navy blue hats and T-shirts that the mountain is printing with this. You can now you can wear Keene Pumpkin Festival's tower on your back. I saw a sample. The print is incredible.
Yeah, the mountain does a great job.
They do a great job, and we have never worked with them before. This is a new partnership that I'm really thrilled about.
And it's a growing company.
Yeah.
And
And they came here because of the Pumpkin Festival. I made that up.
but they're environmentally conscious. They want to put solars on their and then regenerate and use their own electricity from solar power.
They are they are innovators.
And it's one of those companies got a great daycare for its workers.
I parked next to that when I went to look at the proof.
They got a playground,
impressed.
and they give job opportunities to a lot of people that you would have never expected to get job opportunities. And the people there are proven to be, give them an opportunity, and they perform.
Good company.
And a little biased, my daughter works there. She had some problems, but she's in there and she's working up. She's been moving up in the company, and they've done a really great job that I don't think too many other people would have given the opportunity, because she had her wild days and she got tattoos and stuff. And but the mountain, they're a really important part of our community. They do keep a lot of people employed.
Speaking of tattoos, we have an attraction this year. This young man named Trevor Hunt, who, young people look different these days. When we were kids, it was long hair and, hippies and all of that. There's a lot of tattoos and piercings.
Yeah.
It's popular. And you cannot tell a person by their tattoos or
That's right.
piercings. But we have this incredibly energetic fellow on our action team now he works for Masiello in real estate. But he's going to try to break the world record for the most jack-o'-lanterns carved in 24 hours. And something tells me he's got a chance at it. He is the most earnest, high-energy young person. Just very impressive. Beautiful smile. He's going to be carving out in front of edible arrangements. Isn't that just perfect? Carving in front of...
I'm hungry. I can eat the sun.
But they carve beautiful fruit things there. And Pam Slack's son, Sam Slack, is who I've worked with to arrange this. But he needs over 1,000 24-pound pumpkins. The Guinness has these weird rules that you got to learn the rules in order to win the game. And so Trevor Hunt is going to sit out there in front of Ted's and edible arrangements from 5 o'clock Friday to 5 o'clock Saturday, and all those 1,000+ pumpkins that he carves will be part of the record. Yeah. So our farmer says, okay, I can get you 24-pound pumpkins, but they might be green. I'm like, green is good, right? Right? Green up, girl.
Pumpkin.
So that's another thing that, spices up to watch this. People are going to sit down and race with him for, an hour or something, but he's going for 24 hours, and he thinks he can do a pumpkin a minute.
A lot of these tattoo artists are really artists.
He's got beautiful ones, just beautiful. It's hard not to stare.
Yeah, when you go and look at some of the artwork that people have, that rivals some of the artwork that you see in museums around the country.
It's a thing.
The Ward 1, they don't always support the pumpkin.
Bucket? Yeah.
But
the southeast neighborhood.
But I noticed that the college, you have different organizations adopting streets in that area, and the girls that from the sorority that's picking up, my area is clean as it's been in a long time. Every usually Sunday you'll see all a bunch of blue bags where they've gone in and they've picked up all the trash. You're going to be working with Keene State this year, or they just going to do it on their own?
Well, last year we worked with them and we asked them. We have our "Don't Lose Your Head" campaign, and we helped collaborate on and ask them to institute the rule of one guest per student, which really took a bite out of crime. That really helped, because your best friend that visits is not going to embarrass you or get you arrested, but your
best
friend's
friend
doesn't respect your town, you, or anything else, and is a lawless one. So those, finding the root of the problem and trying to solve it is something we've been trying to do. But yeah, if you can solve a problem in an hour by going in with a trash bag, Let's
Yeah.
solve a problem in an hour by going in with a trash bag.
I know the code enforcers and the police did a much better job last year than the year before, because I wasn't really a friend when I went and filmed the next morning, and all these cars, some of these houses had dozens and dozens of cars. There was no way, if there was an emergency, that they could get out. But your best friend, a lot of those cars didn't show up. The police also ticketed some of those, and the code enforcers was there on Thursday and Friday, so they didn't get that big jump. By the time the Pumpkin Fest in, they had already two days of beer and everything else in them.
Well, you have to set a tone of respect. You know, this is not the town you come to.
To trash.
Right. And, I mean, you can, but
Pay the
the
price.
joke is you'll be ruthenized. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't have any patience for anybody who comes here for anything except to be part of
Yeah.
the coolest event in New England in the fall. And if you're here for that reason, come on, carve, feel proud of yourselves, feel you know, the jubilation of looking at that 1,000 pumpkin tower that nobody else, you'll never see anything like that anywhere else on earth. But if you're coming here for any other purpose, I hope you learn quick that that's not what you do here in Keene. You have respect, and then we'll respect you.
And one of the arguments of also having for the Pumpkin Fest is the benefit of nonprofits. What's it going to look for nonprofits this year? How many fundraisers, have an idea, are going to be in?
It's full.
So,
The food and craft court is full. Antioch University New England sponsored the food and craft court to help with some of the overhead of getting that many people together in one small area to feed thousands and thousands of people. But yeah, we have some great menus. Most of the nonprofits are returning, probably 85% of them. It's a hard gig. If you're the Winchester Girl Scouts, you fry a lot of pickles that day.
Yep.
And I'm excited about everybody. The average earnings of people in the food and craft court, the food court, sorry, or nonprofits in general, parking lots and food, is $3,200 times 50, 60 nonprofits that either.
that's $200,000 right there.
I like to feel part of that, small part of helping all of those great causes, because
It's a multiplying effect.
the
It's
Kiwanis are getting a huge part of their annual budget, which ended up going to a cool new rec room at the
Rec center.
At the rec center. So while what's his name is voting against the Pumpkin Festival, he's accepting a check for $3,000 for the new rec room at the rec center and doesn't get the connection, but
And-
we get the connection.
Because what a lot of people don't realize, when they go in and they complain about a bunch of the kids are hanging down the railroad, a lot of those kids, when we had the Y downtown and we had the kind of the teen center across the street, there was a lot of stuff for the kids to do because they don't want to hang out downtown all the time. When the Y moved out, it kind of created that vacuum. So in the Kiwanis that have stepped up at the rec center, there are some PlayStations. I don't know if it's PlayStation or Xbox, but they do have stuff there. Of course, no violent video games, but it's stuff that the teenagers can go. They're not getting in trouble. They're in a warm place. It's not raining, and they're staying out of trouble. And so those are the second and tertiary effects of the Pumpkin Fest that a lot of people just don't understand, because sometimes when a positive effect happens 9 months down the road, you can't connect it to the Pumpkin Fest.
One of my favorite memories, if there's ever a book about Keene Pumpkin Festival, in my experience with it was when the Juggalos were a big problem and their related groups. Big problem on Central Square. That was the first year that we took on the festival, and everybody warned us, oh, danger, danger, you know. And I walked right up to this young man who seemed to be on the ball, and I said, you're going to carve pumpkins, right? He said, sure, where? Carved Juggalo family. I said, how'd you like those on that tower? He said, yeah,
I'm
okay.
important. You're not overlooking me. You're making sure that.
Juggalo family, right across the 2011 Keene Pumpkin Festival Tower. I was proud to make that happen for them. I never had one bit of trouble with any of those young people. They helped us, and it just turned out great. You know, meet people, respect them. And
That's a big key for a lot of young. Don't disrespect me. Don't make believe I'm not there. If you show them respect, they'll return it right back.
plus, look how many pumpkins we got toward the world record. So I hope that somebody will carve their message. Whatever your message is, this is the day to put it in pumpkins and to put it out there. Gherkins TV. Gherkins TV hadn't carved for years, and they did a beautiful set of pumpkins on the A-frames last year, and it's in every photo that we use for PR that goes all over the world.
And then blueberries.
The blueberry pumpkins, those were a big hit. Yeah, so if you've got a message and you say it creatively in pumpkins, there's no limit to where that message could end up. Will you marry me, Fawn? Oh my God. Those marriage proposals.
Did they give you advance warning? Did they ask you to put it up?
You can register whatever you would like to have on the pumpkin tower. It's not full yet. You go on pumpkinfestival.org and you can sign up, and it's free to have your message on there. There's a number of pumpkins signed up, but there's room for 1,000. So I'll tell you who's at the top this year. CNS Wholesale Grocers for giving us 20,000 free pumpkins, which is a really big head start toward the 36,000 I think we need.
And CNS does a heck of a job for this community.
I can't thank them enough. I'm just so moved with. We have a board member from CNS, Ken Hathaway, and he's a former military guy. He has really, he's inspired me in a lot of ways to be just, more organized, more strategic, not less nice, but something where you do say no if it's going to stop you from getting to the goal.
That's right.
I've always wanted to include everybody, and sometimes you have to stop and say no. In order to win, in order to get there, we can't stop and do that little thing. Like we'll worry about recyclables this year, but it cannot distract us from this year's goal. And CNS and CS have been great about that.
And also bring it back around to the food court again, because as part of the 5-year goal, we have a lot of waste in that food court area. So we're also looking at putting together a buy-in program for next year. So if all of the vendors, if they work cooperatively, we're able to get the compostable silverware, the napkins that are made from recycled product, the paper products, and that's also going to help us reduce waste and make it far more feasible too. So
it's the land of opportunity. This Pumpkin Festival program is the land of opportunity. Every aspect of it can be improved. We've proven that. Remember 3 years ago, there was no food and craft court. It was all congested downtown. There was no pumpkin dump derby. The merchandise was all in one tent, and you couldn't wait in line for it the whole time. Just dozens of things that weren't thought through, weren't improved. I was a disciple of continuous improvement, that keep improving. After action
reports.
Debriefings, figure out where it went wrong and why it went wrong. And last year, enough key things went wrong that it was really easy to say, aha, there's the failure point. We can fix that by doing this, this, and this. So the welcome centers are another system. They'll give us a little bit of an idea of who's coming into the festival. We won't be stopping people. There won't be security checkpoints or anything, but we'll have a chance. They're sort of like queuing people through these 7 major entrances, and we'll see who's coming to visit us. We'll have people greeting, and these systems. In the end, I think the things I'm going to be proudest of are the world record we're going to get this year and announce at 8:15, and that we looked at an impossible challenge and found some ways to improve things.
The good thing about the after-action report is you don't always look at what went wrong. You always look at what went right. So a lot of times you can build on what is right, so that prevents things from going wrong. Or, like you say, going for the record. Sometimes you let things go wrong because trying to fix them prevents you from going forward. And so But looking at it, you got CNS who's gone from 15 to 20,000
Went
pumpkin.
from, carving a couple hundred probably to 15,000 last year to 20,000 this year. Huge.
You've worked with the waste management, not only to get the dumpsters out there, but you give people an opportunity to put their mind on a piece of paper. You get to work with her to recycle all the stuff, compost it, means less it's on the street. And because, yeah, that first year, I was really upset that Pumpkin Fest that first year because there was hardly anybody in Keene that was out on that street that Friday night. There was a lot of people from out of town. It was kind of like, I used to take my grandkids out and I think it's like, oh man, it's like we gave up Keene that Friday night. And so you've made a bunch of changes, so now it is back to
I
the
hope
Keene
everybody's
people.
proud of Friday night. We haven't named it community night, but it's community carving night. There will be a carving party every block down there. Luca's got one, Hue and Brew at, not Pedraza's, the Poorhouse.
Poorhouse.
Hue and Brew, a lot of different carving going on with the CNS donated pumpkins. People have seized this opportunity to say, hey, we could carve,
Yeah.
and every pumpkin counts.
Every pumpkin counts.
Hey, so what you just said was brilliant about letting some things go, because if you focus on them, if we're perfectionists, I mean, there's the surest way to fail is to be a
Be a
perfectionist, right? Right. Perfect is the enemy of good, but the Ferris wheel is back.
Okay, Ferris wheel's
We
back.
lost it for a while because we had some difficulties and it was draining resources. It was making us, oh, how are we going to fix this, and this? And finally said, okay, let it go. If it's in the way of the world record, don't do it. But it's back and it's not in the way.
We're just about, but I'll say the one thing that we've learned in the Marine Corps, necessary losses. Necessary losses, you gotta take necessary losses to win. And being a perfectionist, you don't wanna take any loss so you lose.
Yeah, well, not this year, babe.
Okay, I'll end it as that, and we'll see everybody at the Pumpkin Fest, October 19th.
In downtown
I'm
Keene, New Hampshire.
Well, thank you both for being on,
And recycle, reduce, and reuse.
the 3 R's. Okay, see, that went pretty quick.